Welcome, everybody, to your weekly Frax vibe check. I am your host, Capital K, and I'm joined by my co-host, DeFi Dave.
What
How are we doing today, Dave?
I'm good, dude. I am great. I am in Japan, finishing up this week. I was gifted this little guy, Awasi.
Oh,
Yeah, shout out Monkey. He's gonna join me on all my adventures. He looks kind of terrified, I'm not gonna lie.
a little
It's
bit, a
kind of
little bit.
unsettling, but like, hey, that's the point. So he says hi.
Nice, nice. Well,
Yeah.
Flywheel's on an Asia tour, so if you're
Mhm.
out there, Dave, where are you heading to next?
Yes, so I am heading to Hong Kong. We are throwing a Frax event, a Hong Kong DeFi night, April 20th. Definitely come by. We're gonna share it on our socials so you can get it there. But if you're in Hong Kong, because there's quite a few of you, I see that in our data. There's a few Hong Kong subscribers. Come on through.
Solid, solid. All right. Well, with the public announcement out of the way, let's go ahead and dive right on in. We're going to be checking the chain because we are your source of truth for all things Frax. But before we do that, please smash that subscribe button, tap that like button, and also visit us on our Substack, flywheeloutput.com, and join the conversation at Flywheel DeFi on both Telegram and Twitter.
Mario's
Dave.
here too. Mario's here. What's she called the week?
Yes, this week. I'm kind of afraid to call it anything, but it's good.
It's good.
It's good.
It's good.
Whispers.
Let's go.
It's good.
It's good.
With a whisper, because I don't want to jinx it. I feel like it's on the comeuppance, but things can flip in a second. So I do not want to jinx anything right now. But anyways, we always start as always with our flagship product, the Frax stablecoin. And so far for the last, I want to say almost 8 or 7 Frax check, we've been flat at 1,045,000,000 stablecoins out there. So nothing new there. On the next slide, you'll see that the peg this week is actually quite strong as well. We got to a high of 1.001 and a low of 0.998. When you go to the market to do a swap with Curve, we took 100 million of Frax, took 100 million of Frax and swapped it for USDC, and we received 0.9989. Again, good, but I don't want to jinx it. So on the next slide, you'll see for the collateralization percent, we're actually bumping up. This is, I believe, ATH at 93.8% collateralization ratio, increase of 50 bips over the last week. So pretty good.
It's pretty good.
And then on the decentralization percent, which I dubbed the decent percent, we are actually down small at 22.4%, but pretty much unchanged. We've been hovering around this range, as you can see, for the last, at least, I say 7 Frax checks. But nonetheless, let's go on to our next product, which is the liquidity as a service, almost, aka Frax BP. And the Frax base pool, for those that aren't familiar, is Frax being paired against USDC. And the reason it's a base pool is because other pools could be paired against it. Now, for this base pool, we have $498 million in this pool of liquidity. That is actually a slight decrease of 40 bips from last week. Last week, we had like 500 mil. So there's a small, tiny drop in the liquidity there. But on the volume front, we are currently printing about facilitating $26 million in monthly volume, which only represents a 5% utilization rate. Now, this rate is drastically smaller than March's for obvious reasons with the USDC situation. Curve and basically Frax BP printed a lot. I had to go back and check exactly the volume, but this is nowhere near the number we were putting up last week. But what's more important here is on the next slide, we see that Frax BP has been maintaining this ratio of 113% above the 3 pool. And the 3 pool is well, before the Frax BP was the de facto pool for Curve, and seeing that Frax BP completely overtook it and maintained the throne. We got as high as 118%, and we've been hovering for the last 4 weeks between 114 and 113. So I love to see this. I love to see this. And on the next slide, you'll see that we are these are all the three largest Frax pools or rather, these are the three largest stablecoin pools on Curve, which is the Frax BP, the 3 pool, and the Frax 3 CRV. Frax BP at 498 million, 3 pool at 441 million, and Frax 3 CRV at 383 million. That's regardless, that is a lot of liquidity available for the taking for people right there. So it's very good, Dave. I don't know what else to say, but again, I don't want to jinx this.
Consistency.
I don't want to jinx this because I feel like we're gonna get rubbed.
Oh shit!
But
We're
yes,
up 8%.
yes,
Sorry.
yes. You totally front ran my announcement. I was gonna do a whole drum up to this, but yes. Anyways, everybody who's listening,
Sorry, I MEV'd that.
yes, Dave just sniped me. But guys, the big thing happened last week was the Chapella upgrade.
Chapella.
And
Sorry.
yes, exactly. One must always say it like that. And we were always saying how this could be like that catalyst moment for FrxETH specifically. And lo and behold, boom, we saw an 8% increase week over week from last week. And note here, for the last, I believe, 3 or 2 weeks before Chapella, we were actually only doing 2% week over week. So I love this. I love to see this. I love it when we're right.
It was slowing down, and then boom, it just went up to 8%. And you know what? We were right. Let's own that.
Yeah, I kind of like it. But again, I feel like we're
it's
gonna get
good.
Yeah, I feel like it's good.
It's
good. Okay, so where are all of these 141,862 FrxETH hanging out? Well, they're hanging out currently, 63% of them in the FrxETH, earning that nice juicy native yield. And then 27% is in the Curve LP pool. And then this is what Sam dubbed, what is it called? The monetary premium here?
Monetary premium, that's right.
At 10 whopping percent. That means there is 14,000 FrxETH just chilling, vanilla, PG chilling. So that is quite impressive.
PG chilling.
Yeah. Parental guidance chilling. Easy.
Frax guidance.
Yeah. Oh, nice. But aside from that, this is still a stable coin. So what we got to do, we got to check the peg. And things are also really freaking good here. We have a FrxETH to ETH exchange rate of 0.9996 according to the dashboard. But we never trust dashboards. So we're going to go into the markets and do a little swappy swap ourselves.
Swappy swap. That's pretty good.
Yes. And we took 3,500 FrxETH, which is the largest LP, and we swapped it for ETH on Curve, and we received an exchange rate of 0.9995 for this. I love to see this. I love to see this. At one point, it was like in the sevens, like 0.997 to swap FrxETH to ETH, and
so
I did not like that.
So we gained 8%, and the peg is getting tighter. Did I get that correct?
That is factually on-chainly correct.
So is this the kind of flywheel where as FrxETH grows, the liquidity gets deeper and then the peg just gets tighter and tighter? I guess so.
I believe the answer is yes. Definitely and indubitably.
Indubitably. Imagine once we get up to 200 million, 300 million, 500 million, billion, how tight that's going to be. It's going to be like 0.9999.
Dude. And even better yet is when we become that base pool of just FrxETH paired against all the other stats and et cetera, Mm-hmm. That will make us even stronger, right?
Yeah.
Because now we're kind of leveraging their peg as well too. So, guys, keep this with a grain of salt. Dave and I are extremely biased, and we obviously want this thing to go up and up and up. But we believe that this is a march towards the future. And speaking of the future, we must first look at the present, and that is where we see the market share currently in the landscape. And then you see that,
It's like so much more than everyone else.
yes,
Oh my
yes.
goodness.
So the landscape right now is Lido is still the king at 74% market share. Coinbase at 14 and Rocket Pool at 6, but FrxETH here at 1.76%. Yes, that is a small number, but we did grow by 7% in market share week over week. So we are climbing the charts here, everybody. If you look at our 30-day change, we are the one with the highest number at 21% versus Lido at 3% and Rocket Pool at 7%. So we are definitely on the comeuppance, and I'm here for it. I am here for
Same.
it.
Our
Now,
7-day change is higher than other 30-day changes.
oh shoot, yeah, I didn't even notice that. Okay, that's a very fair way of putting it. So we're technically faster than what they can do in a month. We do in a week. So
Boom.
let's get after it. But
It's
you know
good.
the reason why it is good. The reason why though is on the next slide, as Dave will show you, it is because we are printing like the top yield across everybody in the game, and this is on the low end too, right? This is a
Yeah.
quote slow week. This is a slow
I
week
think I
already.
guess everything went down like after Chappelle.
Yes. Well, I think remember this yield is always kind of like one oh yeah, no, you're right. You're right. You're right. It is. It is forecasting in the future now. So
Mhm.
yeah, things did slow down after Chappelle, but I feel like we are like part of me also feels it doesn't really matter what that number is, but as long as we're on top and more than the other guys, I think
Yeah.
I think that's the key bit. Like we have to be relatively better, and like if you look at here, right, FrxETH charges 10% in fees, which 8% goes to the treasury and then 2% goes to an insurance fund. Lido does something similar, except it's 5.5. And then Rocket Pool, I believe, is 15%. So if you kind of do an after fee number, we are still up there, right? Like we are still definitely up there in terms of yield. So I love to see it. And on the next slide, we're going to talk about Sam, our producer extraordinaire's favorite product, the F to the P to the I. And here we see that the inflation, the annual inflation, is pegged at 5%, or rather indexed at 5% currently. So that's been going down. It was 6.4, then 6, then now 5. And underneath that, you will see for those listening, the FPI is peg is currently 5% above what is required of it. And how is that possible? Well, FPI has a treasury of 88.6 million in TVL, and this treasury is comprised of FPI and Frax, and they're currently being used in convex to generate that yield. And that excess yield over time accumulates, and that accumulated yield, we like that accumulated excess yield, we call that equity, and that is at 5.3 million. That means if FPI were to say disband completely, then 5.3 million would theoretically go to VEFPIS holders. Man, that is a lot of letters. But yes, that is where we're heading for FPI. I'm one thing to note. Oh, sorry, Dave. One second.
Mm.
One thing to know about FPI is it is capped. That's why the supply hasn't been growing much over the last couple weeks. Is because the supply of FPI is indeed capped, so that the team can grow responsibly. All right, that's it. And next leg, we're going to talk about the Frax Lend. And
Oh
here,
wow, we're up. We're up in
yeah,
utilization.
yes. Oh, we. That's what I want to whisper that we're good, but
We're
because
good.
on the TVL we are at 199.8 million. But damn it, I'm just gonna say 200. We're at 200 million TVL, and out of that, 50 million is currently being borrowed. That's a massive increase of, like Dave said, of nearly 5% over the last week's amount. And take a look at the chart here, Dave. So on the supply value, these are the Frax being supplied into the pool, or
Hmm.
rather into the Frax land pairs. And that massive dip, as you could imagine, was the circle situation. And you see how on the supply side, we pretty much recovered.
Mm-hmm.
We've pretty much freaking recovered to previous highs. Love to see that. And but on the collateralization side, we're still lagging. You see that we definitely are still, I would say, maybe another 20 million or so below where we were before the USDC thing.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that to take care of. But on the next slide, we'll get to see some opportunities in the Frax Lend pairs.
Oh my god.
So
Um,
so ignore the top one. That's just some person is really getting wrecked
but
on
like
their
14% on supply for FXS.
oh yeah that's I mean I was talking about FrxETH, but just ignore that. But
Yeah.
yes, for FXS and Frax, yes, somebody is cranking up the leverage
Yeah,
for that
somebody's like
one.
really looping here. Somebody's
Yeah,
bullish.
yeah, uber bullish. But I also wanted to point out this is the Frax ETH Frax pair is currently only costing you 2% to borrow. So you're actually getting paid to borrow here on
Mm-hmm.
Frax Lend. And this, I know a lot of people say, "Hey, I get paid to borrow on so many other protocols." Well, you do, but sometimes that is subsidized by, say, the governance token or some other token emission that is
This
like,
is organic. This is
yeah,
all natural.
this is all natural. So, and you can come here, borrow at 2%, get paid 5%, and you have it on for free. And if anything, you have a 3% margin of error. So quite solid there. And again, CRV and Frax are always a kind of like the usual suspect here for
The
the Frax.
usual suspects.
Right, and this just prints 9% solidly. So you could just put 9%. You could put your Frax in there as well, and it's been consistently printing the 8 to 9 handle. So things are great there too. Now on to the Frax swap here, guys, which is the last leg of the DeFi Trinity, and we have 71 million in TVL for Frax. Oh, sorry, 72 million in TVL for the Frax swap. And on the next slide, you'll see the top pair volumes. And as you can, you guys can't see this here, but the top pair is actually the FXS Frax at 15 million. And we've been doing about 15 million in volume every 7 days for specifically this FXS Frax pair. And on the other hand, you also see Frax and WETH, again, also a usual suspect, printing at 1.5 million every 7 days. So, like I said, Frax Swap is like the pool. It's like the DEX that nobody knows about, but it's actually crushing it in terms of processing volume. Like
Yeah.
it's just phenomenal. Just phenomenal. Frankly, it's the only place to go to for FXS. So I guess if you want to ape FXS, you have to go only one
In
protocol
size.
in
In
size.
over a long period of time.
Right. DCA, no code solution to DCA. So there it is. Now, on to some profitability numbers. We're going to take a look at our AMOs. Okay. And here
It's
we've
good.
we're up 1%, which is quite awesome. That is equivalent to a $10 million bump over from last week. And where that $10 million came from is the liquidity and the investor. Both of them saw an increase of about 2.5 million each. So that's where we saw the rather 5 million each. That's where we saw the 10 million bump. The Curve AMO is 625 million, which is pretty much flat. Liquidity AMO is 82.6, lending AMO is 85, and the investor AMO is 140 million. So things are on the uppity up for the AMO side. But there always needs to be a little red to balance out the green. And here,
uh
go ahead.
oh.
Yes. Oh, there it is. Yes. Yes. So I believe I've mentioned last week that we had a massive bribe, well, not massive, but the usual bribe payment come due earlier this week. So we have a loss of 630K for the AMO convex, and but the breakdown here is important. The CRV is hitting 910K in revenue. Convex is 110K, and FXS is 70K. Then we have to pay a bribe of $1.7 million this month so far. Hence the loss of
That's a fat
630K.
bribe. Holy shit.
Well, it's two bribes in one.
A two,
Um,
a two for one special.
yeah, yeah, it's a 2-for-1 special. So, because of that, we're going to kind of have to eat it. But
Mhm.
that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Which we will, because this is cost of growth. And what's exciting though is on the next slide, I'll show you guys some green to balance out this red, though not a lot. But the Frax Lend AMO we see here had an increase of about 6 million over last week. So that's the total lent Frax. So obviously Frax is a large LPer into the Frax Lend pool. And for that, the AMO is able to generate almost 14.8K a week. So the Fraxland AMO is generating 15K a week. And so far for April, we have 445K in revenue so
Nice.
far. So I mean, it's solid. It's definitely solid. On the next slide, you'll see we talk about the liquidations because, well, sometimes liquidations happen. Shit happens. But fortunately, for the month, it is 0. So everybody out there is being responsible and being safe. We
Safe.
actually,
It's good.
yeah, it's good. We actually don't want to see this number go up, right? Like we want everybody
Yeah.
to be happy, we want everybody to do their thing, and everybody be safe out there. So this is a good number. Now on the next slide, we'll talk about FPI, which had a massive month so far, up 126K in revenue. Okay, remember what we talked about, guys? How FPI has to maintain a peg. Therefore, on the expense line, you see the peg increase as an expense line item. But you see the income is comprised of, 4 different things. And all of that adds up to 185K so far. This is not to say, rather, I haven't mentioned yet that we have another 10K in unclaimed
Another
rewards that needs to
10K.
come in. Yeah.
It's really good.
Yeah. It's,
It's
hey,
good.
don't say it so loudly. You
Sorry.
know, Moloch might hear you and come after and just
I'm
flog us.
sorry. I know. I know. I just want to enjoy the good weeks when we have them because the ups and downs.
Yes, no, I hear you, brother. And now I'm gonna give you a nice summary and end it this with low red to keep
Okay.
us grounded. Okay, to keep us grounded here. For April, so far we have 630K loss on Convex. I mean, but we will be generating revenue moving forward. So hopefully that would definitely change. For the Frax Lend, we're at 44.5K in April revenue. Frax Lend liquidations, 0, which we're happy about. And for FPI, that is 126K. Yes. And for all those who are griping about, hey, FPI shouldn't be counted because technically it goes to VEFPIS and not FXS. Well, I'm taking this as a overall what is the Frax finance period. Frax finance DAO, the whole entity or conglomerate performs. And
Mhm.
we have a loss of 460K so far for the month of April. And that is a wrap for this week's Frax check. I believe it's number 34, 35. Oh my goodness.
We're
Can't
getting
believe
up
we've been
there.
going. Yeah, we're definitely getting up there. But yeah, Dave, it's this week it's been good.
It's been
But
good.
but I have a feeling is this is not gonna last. Like maybe we were just conditioned for pain at this point.
I know.
Because
Yeah. I mean, maybe the bottom has actually happened, and it's just, dare I say, up.
don't you dare. don't
No, the
don't
thing
you dare
I
do
won't
it.
say that until we have our circulating supply increase because it's been so flat. So we're still
You the
flat there.
man. You the man. You are the absolute man for pointing
I
that
want to
out.
see that
Yes.
grow. That's the one thing
Yes.
I'm waiting for.
Yes. And the only thing that's kind of helping me, I guess, survive through that is the FrxETH number constantly going up.
Yeah, that's the one
Right?
that's
I'm
actually
like,
up only. It's like,
yeah,
yeah.
I'm like, okay, you know what? If the market and the community is speaking, we should listen. And
Hmm.
they like the FrxETH. So,
But do you see the new Frax merch?
dude, does that really say Frax Finance?
in Japanese.
That is so sick. That's so sick.
Don't worry, I got you on saved for Oh damn, you're. Oh yeah, next time I see you, I
All
got
good.
it
All
saved.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So, how are the listeners who and subscribers who show up to Hong Kong gonna get some of this merch? Is there any leftovers for them?
Perhaps. You gotta show up to find out.
Ooh. Okay, teaser. Well,
So,
everybody, Dave, you want to sign us out?
sure thing. So, if you want to keep up with all the ups and downs of FrxETH, make sure you hit that bell button, do it right now, and subscribe. Don't miss a beat. Leave us a comment. Give us a like. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at FlywheelDeFi. Follow us on Telegram at FlywheelDeFi. Join the conversation there. You can follow me on Twitter at DeFiDave22.
You can follow me at ZerXCapital_K.
And subscribe to our Substack down below, and see you next week.
Go. Peace.
Nice. All right.